Ric Flair is set to have his final match on July 31 at the age of 73. Flair is pretty confident that he'll go out with a bang on his last match. But if we're going to be honest here, it's going to take a lot of work to top his first retirement in 2008. Flair has shown during those final WWE years, he can still hang with the stars of the time. And if we're discussing Ric Flair's legacy before his last match, it's important to take a look at his last WWE run too. Welcome to Sports Entertainment, and this is the 10 best Ric Flair matches from his final WWE run. But before we begin, be sure to click that subscribe button so you can stay updated with all our great content. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click on the thumbs up icon down below. Now let's get to it.
We told you that we could feel all hell was gonna break loose here tonight.
Don't tell me! Mamma mia! Mamma mia! Are you kidding me?
Number 10. The 2006 Money in the Bank ladder match, WrestleMania 22. In 2006, Ric Flair went out of his comfort zone by participating in riskier matches. One of those matches was the second ever Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania. A solid and fun spot fest of a match. The reason why we're putting it here at 10 is because of Flair's limited participation in it. Nate was involved in only a few minutes of action, but those few minutes didn't stop Flair from making an impact. In one of the earliest big spots of the match, the 57-year-old Flair took a superplex from Matt Hardy off the top of a ladder, and the story called for him to be helped out. A few minutes later, however, Flair marched back to the ring, chopping anyone in his path before setting up a ladder to grab the briefcase. Unfortunately, he was stopped by Finlay with a shillelagh blow to the head, sending him down from the ladder. Although this wasn't Flair's night, he made the most out of the few minutes he had. Number 9. Ric Flair vs. Kurt Angle, Raw 2005. The June 27 edition of Raw in 05 featured the Nature Boy going one-on-one against the Olympic gold medalist for the first time ever. Flair knew he was up against one of the very best, and so resorted to every tactic in the Ric Flair heel playbook. Unfortunately for Nate, it wasn't enough. Angle eventually got the ankle lock again, forcing the tap. Number 8. Ric Flair vs. Triple H, Raw 2007. In late 2007, Flair famously declared
That I will never retire!
That is, until Vince McMahon let it be known that the next match that Flair loses will be his last. And one of those matches was against his good buddy, Triple H. The last Raw of 2007 featured a main event that pitted the Nature Boy and the Game against one another. The stakes were very high, as Flair was fighting for his career while Triple H was fighting to keep his spot in the Royal Rumble. The bout was a stellar back and forth affair, and the two had the crowd in the palm of their hands. In the bout's closing moments, Triple H hit a pedigree on Flair but couldn't make the cover immediately. Before the Game can get the cover, William Regal runs down to the ring and hits Flair in the head with brass knucks, causing a disqualification for Triple H and a win for Flair. It's one of the most anticlimactic finishes to an otherwise in-ring classic, and it's probably the main reason why this match isn't often talked about today. Number 7. Ric Flair vs. Mick Foley, I Quit match, SummerSlam 2006. Remember when we said 2006 was the year when Ric Flair got into riskier matches? This is perhaps the best example of it. The match was considerably a short one for an I Quit match, but what made it stand out is the amount of pain that Flair underwent. Throughout the match, Flair was brutalized with barbed wire, and in the craziest spot of the match, got body slammed on thumbtacks. Flair eventually got the upper hand, brutalizing Mick Foley until he quits, but to no avail. And in the closing moments of the match, Flair showed a dangerous side of him that we rarely see. When he gets Foley knocked out, he refuses the win, insisting that Foley must quit and not just lay down. When Foley's friend Melina throws in the towel to save him from further punishment, Nate continues refusing the win, insisting that Melina does not quit for Foley. Flair went as far as threatening to hit Melina with a barbed wire bat, which eventually forced Foley to quit. This might very well be the most violent match of Ric Flair's career. Number 6. Evolution vs. The Rock and Sock Connection, WrestleMania 20. From a historical perspective, WrestleMania 20 was significant because it was the WrestleMania debuts of Batista and Randy Orton. The match itself got a fair amount of time and was a solid tag match, with everyone playing their parts well. In a memorable spot, Flair tried to hit a styling and profiling version of the People's Elbow on The Rock. Evolution came up victorious after a sudden RKO from Orton to Foley. It might not be a good decision if you're a Rock or Mick Foley fan that night, but the win helped set the foundation for the bright futures that awaited the Animal and the Viper. Number 5. Ric Flair vs Triple H. Last Man Standing Match, Survivor Series 2005. This match at Survivor Series 05 was the culmination of a blood feud between two former friends. This was simply personal. The match went on for almost 30 minutes, and is one of Flair's longest matches in his final WWE run. It featured lots of blood and brutality, including a spot where the Game mauls Ric Flair with a screwdriver. Triple H defeated Flair with a sledgehammer when free pedigrees didn't keep Nate down. This match turned out to be a preview of the violent matches that Flair would participate in the following year, and proved that Ric Flair is still as good in storytelling as he is in bleeding. Number 4. Ric Flair vs Edge. TLC match for the WWE Championship, Raw 2006. Among Flair's most dangerous matches in 2006, this was definitely his best. His performance against one of the founding fathers of the TLC match was top-notch here, and it even featured a young Charlotte Flair cheering his father from ringside. It really felt like he had a chance to bring home the gold one more time. Unfortunately for Nate and the crowd, the younger and more TLC-versed Edge prevailed, and Ric Flair would never challenge for the WWE title again. Number 3. Ric Flair vs Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship, Raw 2003. The third match against Triple H in this list is also the shortest one. But what makes this the best among Flair's bouts against the Game is the story that they told. In the opening segment of the May 19th episode of Raw in 2003, Raw co-general manager Stone Cold Steve Austin ordered Triple H to defend his World Heavyweight title that night. Moreover, Austin said that the Game can handpick his opponent, but he has to be a former world champion. Triple H picked his close pal Ric Flair as his opponent. While Flair was initially ecstatic at getting another shot at the gold, the Game revealed his true plan, which was for Ric Flair to lie down and take the pin. Flair was disappointed yet conflicted on what he has to do, and it took a pep talk from Shawn Michaels to remind Flair of who he is. A rejuvenated Flair makes it clear to the Game before their match that he's not lying down anymore. The match was short and simple, but it was effective in concluding this one-show storyline between Triple H and Flair. The Green Bay crowd was fully behind Nate, cheering every offense, every dirty move, everything Flair can do to win the world title. And although Flair lost, the match fulfilled its objective, to show the Nature Boy, at 54 years old, as still capable of being the man. Number 2. Ric Flair vs The Undertaker, WrestleMania 18. Taker's undefeated streak at Mania was beginning to gain recognition during this time, and he was looking to add Flair's name on the list. That night in Toronto, the two icons put on a WrestleMania-worthy brawl. Taker relished in his role as the unstoppable monster to Flair's rage-driven veteran. In the end, The Undertaker was simply too much for Flair, and with an emphatic tombstone piledriver, Flair became number 10 on The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. And number 1, Ric Flair vs Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 24. If you don't agree with this match being number 1 on this list, you don't like pro wrestling. This is perhaps the most emotional retirement match in WWE history. It's early 2008 and Ric Flair has managed to preserve his career by remaining undefeated in matches. WrestleMania was looming on the horizon, and before Flair took his rightful place in the Hall of Fame, he wanted to have a Mania match for the ages. Flair knew that there's only one man who can give him that kind of match, and that was the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. The energy from the crowd that night was off the charts, with everyone pulling for the Nature Boy to rise to the occasion. When Nate kicked out of the first Sweet Chin Music, it sent the crowd wild and gave everyone hope that Nate had a winning chance. But a few minutes later, Shawn hits a second Sweet Chin Music from out of nowhere, and then the finish. I'm sorry, I love you. Hits the third Sweet Chin Music on Flair, and gets the 1-2-3. This is pro wrestling at its most powerful and dramatic. The Nature Boy and the Heartbreak Kid made magic that night that has since been recognized as the stuff of pro wrestling legend. A perfect way to end the career of the great Ric Flair. And there you have it, the 10 best Ric Flair matches from his final WWE run. What did you think of our list? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, leave us with a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more great content. Until next time!
The ropes always untamed, on guard when I step in the ring. WWE, all eyes on me. King of the ring, who you came to see? It's a big show, so let your friends know. Only the strong survive. Face to face, look your opponent up in the eyes. Crowd cheering, fan favorite, I'm the main event. Had them all waiting, my finish move, they anticipate.